Aloha and welcome to the Embodied Healing Self podcast with your host, Jen Mons. Each week, join me for soul-inspired, conscious conversations around embodied healing and awakening to your soul's purpose. Thank you for listening in. The content of this podcast is to educate, inspire, and inform you of pathways to an embodied healing self. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice from your medical doctor, therapist, registered dietitian, or nutritionist for any questions you may have regarding your diagnosis or condition. Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm so honored to have you back this week on the show with me. So this week's share comes from some messages that I received from a couple of people that really just sparked and inspired me to share something with you that for me, I know is a belief that I'm very passionate about, and am reminded when people send me messages that it's sort of something that I naturally live by, and it may not be understood by everybody. So it is the foundation for everything that I do, which is the belief that nourishing our physical, energetic, mental, emotional body, the wholeness of who we are as a human being, is so important for the ultimate reason that it is the vessel or the chalice, the container that holds the essence of who we are, which is our soul. And so I did a post on social media recently that said something like, nourish your body to a frequency or a vibration that attracts the highest expression of your soul. And I spoke at a women's event recently around health and well-being, talking about the different layers of well-being, where the deepest layer of work that we do around the healing, through nutrition, through movement, through our healthy mindset, creating sacred space with healthy boundaries and time management, living in alignment and in the flow rather than the hustle, allowing ourselves to receive through abundance, allowing ourselves to receive. This one is huge for women. And then also doing the deeper work of healing the heart space, becoming aware of core wounds we talked about in the last episode. One that came up for me recently, which was one around rejection. And I have several, but that just happens to be one that was showing up for me in the present moment. And healing trauma. There are so many episodes that I've spoken with amazing guest speakers around all of those topics. The cycle of self-sabotage, allowing fear to be your catalyst for change, coming out of your story to your glory, doing the inner work to create your outer world. Check out those episodes. But the deepest layer that I do in my mentorship programs, I actually offer an 8-month mentorship program where I work closely one-on-one and intimately with a very small number of women, is connecting to that soul's highest expression, that purpose. But we build the foundation through healthy eating, through mindful movement, which is the right movement for our body type, through nourishing our body for our energetic constitution, for our epigenetics, for our lifestyle, for what works for us, that makes us feel energized. We get rid of all that garbage. We're not tired anymore. We have energy to think clearly, to show up in the highest expression of ourselves for our loved ones. When we do that work, that's the first layer, nourishing the physical body. The second layer, healing the heart space, that mind-body connection. And when we do that, we're ready to explore some archetypes, some human design, some soul contract work around what it is that we're here to do, what our life purpose is. And it's not really what we're here to do, it's who we are meant to be. Because really that is the only thing that we're here for, is to be the highest expression of ourselves. It doesn't really matter what you do for work. It really doesn't. It's just an energy. Your story, your pain, your trauma is part of who you are. All of these things are part of who you are, but they are not the true essence of who you are. They are a part of you, but the true essence of who you are is your soul. And so I talk a lot about the importance of nourishing your body to raise the vibration. And this was my personal experience after a health crisis, a physical body health crisis, which is a whole nother story because it was pregnancy-induced liver failure. And that is another story around my body not being ready for the vibrational match of my daughter's soul coming in. But also thinking about our body being a vibrational match for our soul. So think about a boiling pot of water, okay? That turns into steam. So I'm going to geek out on you for a moment as a former marine mechanical engineer. Steam is water in the gas phase, which is formed when water boils or evaporates. But there's a lot of energy in steam, right? Like you've heard of steam turbines that can drive things. So the energy required to turn water into a gaseous form allows it to increase in volume by, I think it's almost like 2,000 times its standard temperature and pressure. This is just thermodynamics. This change in volume can be converted into mechanical work in steam turbines, and it's super powerful. And so think about like your coffee pot on your stove that whistles when it's boiling hot water, right? The container that's holding this increased energy or elevated energy, this state of energy, it's still the same molecules of water, it's just in a more expansive state. When the water becomes this expansive state of steam, it overflows. So you've probably had an overflowing boiling pot of water, or it creates enough power to allow your pot to whistle. The body's the same way. You think, well, you either need a bigger container or you need less pressure, less water. So the body's the same way. It's like if we don't take care and raise the vibration of the container to hold the capacity of the energy, then something's going to blow. And for some of us, it shows up as a health crisis, which was my situation, or maybe it's a crisis in your marriage or your financial well-being. So there's usually a breakdown in some type of relationship. And I've talked a lot about how we show up in one way in our life is often how we show up in other ways in our life. So your relationship to health is no different based on those beliefs that create our perception of our relationships in life with people, with health, with money, with fear, with whatever, anything, any word that triggers you, activates you, excites you, inspires you, anything in your life. So our bodies are the same way. And the more that we nourish them in a healthy way to increase the vibration. So everything in my world, in our world, is energy. Albert Einstein said it. Everything is energy. I firmly believe this. Energy is not created or destroyed. It changes state. So just like the boiling pot of water, our body is the same way. So anything that we experience is just another exchange of energy. And our body, our container, our vessel is the framework or the structure that holds the energy of our soul. And the energy of our body that at some point in time when our soul leaves the body eventually decomposes and becomes food or nourishment for the earth or, the ocean or wherever it is that your physical body goes after this lifetime. It turns into something else, just like the acorn drops from the tree and becomes another tree. Like it's the cycle of nature. It happens everywhere. And it's the same thing with the energy of our soul. It's not created or destroyed. It changes state. This is my belief. So when we nourish our body to increase the vibration of our body, we allow the container for that expansive space of our soul that is growing, that is expanding, that is healing, the highest expression of our soul. You hear about the law of attraction and people talk about becoming a vibrational match for what it is that you want in your life. If you want that soulmate, if you want that job, if you want those clients, if you want that money, if you want that healing, become the person, become the vibrational match for what you're calling in. It's the same thing with your body. Create the body as a vibrational match for the soul, the highest expression of your soul. We do this through nutrition. But it's not about just the nourishing and the giving and the receiving. It's also the cleansing. So there's a balance. We nourish, we receive love, light, connection, healthy food and healing, and we cleanse. We cleanse toxic energy. We cleanse toxic emotions by healing, by doing the inner work, by healing the heart space, by healing relationships, getting rid of relationships that no longer serve you. Those people who are mistreating you, who are not appreciating you, there's no reason to keep them in your life. If you've done the work, if you've asked yourself, what am I here to learn about this? We're not blaming anybody, but if you know that there are relationships in your life and you're doing the self-inner work, sometimes those relationships are an invitation for you to create a healthy boundary. As I recently experienced in last week's episode around my core wound around rejection. It was just actually an invitation for me to be okay with the boundary that was created for me by this particular person rejecting me. It was actually it created the healthy relationship. Because we are not here to fix or to change anybody. All that we can do in our experiences is be there to support and then do the inner work as to what is this showing me about me. It's having self-responsibility for the actions, and then knowing that there's an opportunity for growth with the acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude for the experience. So for my healers and coaches out there, yoga teachers, life coaches, health coaches, I can't tell you especially how important this is, but for all of us, for mothers, for fathers, as human beings, there is an opportunity around this because nourishing ourselves can be challenging, because how we show up in our life around our belief about ourselves, if we don't believe that we're lovable, good enough, safe, or if we think we're hopeless, this shows up in the way that we nourish ourselves. And if we want to continue to show up as the highest expression of ourselves for our loved ones, for our family, for our children, for other women and men in the community, we nourish ourselves with love, with connection, with support, with healthy food, with mindful movement, by creating healthy boundaries and healthy space, being super clear about what we let in and what we let go of, being super clear about it, because this body is the container. It's the vessel that holds the energy of your soul. And the more that you nourish it and take care of it, the higher expression, that expanded energy, like we talked about the steam, right? The expanded energy of the same water molecule, just an expanded energy, is allowed to come in as a vibrational match. And if your soul is evolving faster than your physical body because you're not nourishing it, it could end up in a health crisis. That was what happened to me. So, and this won't happen for everybody. Everybody will have a different experience. But hopefully this inspires you to just notice that there's a deeper reason for nourishing ourselves, rather than just feeling good, looking good, not being sick, which are all wonderful benefits. 10 years ago, that's all I talked about as a health coach. Eat healthy so that you never get sick again, because it's possible. I didn't think it was possible, but it is. You just learn to become empowered in your health, listen to your body wisdom, know when there's a pathogen in your body, and then take the steps to keep the energy of your body stronger than the pathogen. Because when we get sick or we get injured, it's often an invitation to slow down in some way, because we're not listening to our body. Then we become ill or injured. Our body speaks to us. So this is why we do this. To nourish the vessel that holds your soul's expression. And so if you are wanting to expand, if you are wanting more freedom, fulfillment, joy, abundance, all of the things that are wonderful to experience in this lifetime, taking care of your body is a part of it. Welcoming in those higher vibration emotions and experiences, higher vibration, higher frequency. Create the body that matches it. Create a vibrational match to attract those things into your life. And see what happens. I'd love to hear from you what you think. And just remember and know that this looks differently for everybody. I don't like trendy diets. Not one trendy diet can work for everybody. Not one supplement can work for everybody. This is all individualized. It's intuitive. It's going inward. It's understanding your body and your needs and what works best for you. And if you're looking for guidance and support, I do believe that we can do most of this on our own if we're fully committed, about 70 to 80%. But then there is also a time where a healer or a coach can come in, because good healers and coaches are catalysts for energetic change. We hold the space of the highest vision of you, your highest soul's expression, until you're ready to receive it, as my friend Karen Kinney says. And that's what we do. And we provide an empowered path for you to get there. And that's what I do. I'm a catalyst for that extra 20 to 30%. But I do believe you can access your own embodied healing self with the messages that have been shared on this show throughout the show, healing the heart space, the self-sabotage, all of that is part of it. The nutrition, functional medicine, healing the gut, it's all part of it. And then allowing yourself to be ready to receive the highest form of your soul's expression after you've created a vibrational match for it. And it's also an ongoing journey, because as you expand, your body will become more sensitive to the things that don't serve you. Your body, you will be in touch with, you're not going to really want to eat the entire bag of potato chips or the whole bag of cookies or the entire pizza. You'll just know. And if you do, you won't judge yourself for it. As I've witnessed over 10 years of coaching, that people just no longer desire those cycles of self-sabotage once they know what it's like to live in that higher vibration, to receive the fullest expression of their soul. So I invite you to maybe journal around this, sit with this today, see how this lands for you. Send me a message. Let me know what challenges come up for you around this. What questions do you have around nourishing your physical body, your energetic body, healing your heart space? What questions do you have? And know that this is the work that I do, and there are several people out there that do it, and so I have several amazing resources that if I'm not the person, I will gladly send you their way. So have a wonderful day with love and aloha. See you next week. Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of this community. I know there are many other podcasts that you could be tuning into, and I am deeply honored that you chose to listen in and be present with me today. I love and cherish and appreciate you, and I want to invite you to join our tribe and Facebook group under jenmons.com/connect. I would also love to gift you your guide to discovering and overcoming the self-limiting beliefs standing in the way of you living in optimal health, more energy, fulfillment, and self-confidence to create an embodied, healthy, whole you. You can find this at jenmons.com/tribe. I also have one small request to help spread the love. In order for this podcast to show up in the feed of social media platforms, of other like-minded people, we need reviews. So please head on over to jenmons.com/podcast to leave a review. You will also find other inspiring episodes on that page. So I personally read these reviews weekly and would love to give you a shout out and share your kind words with our listeners. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Jen Mons or The Holistic Coach with the W Holistic and Jen Mons, JenMons.com. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Aloha.